1 second while my computer catches up to that. It always takes a second.
I'm going to put some lip gloss on real quick.
Okay, well, we got Dr. Pamela Hall in the house who just jetted to spruce up her lips. We were having some technical difficulties on my side. Thank you all for waiting. Thank you all for joining. This is Black Acupuncture. Dr. Pamela Hall. Wait a minute. I have a lot of technical difficulties going on today. Y'all bear with me. There she is. All right. And then I always forget to record. Sugar, hold on. Record on the cloud. Ooh, I have done all the things. All right, y'all, we are in the house. Took me a second, but that's okay. Welcome to Black Acupuncturist Meet and Greet. I'm your host, Dr. Tanisha Dandridge. Today we have Dr. Pam Hall that's going to be joining us, and let's talk about sex is today's topic, and I'm excited. So one of the reasons why we got started with the show, if you've seen this before, then you've heard this a million times, is because a lot of people are not aware of the fact that there is such a thing as a Black acupuncturist. We're kind of viewed as unicorns, which is terrible because there are quite a few of us, not as many as maybe there could or should be, but we do exist. And so every week I want to bring to you a different Black acupuncturist from somewhere around the country or in the world, because we do have people in the UK, the Canada, Nigeria, and Denmark. I think. I forgot where those other two ladies are. We're all over the place, right? So we have Dr. Hall joining us today to talk a little bit about sex and acupuncture, because acupuncture actually is good for maintaining your sexual health and helping you to be able to combat some of your sexual issues. So, Dr. Hall, hi.
Peace and good evening, Dr. Dandridge. How are you this evening? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a guest on your show.
Thank you for coming. I am so sorry for my technical difficulties, but I don't do tech. Like, I am really learning this week by week.
Look, you're better than I am. You're better than I am.
All right. So, Dr. Hall, what made you become an acupuncturist?
You know, it's really crazy because I've always been afraid of needles my entire life. So the fact that I'm an acupuncturist and making a living out of the very thing that was a phobia for me is amazing in and of itself. But I became a doctor of Oriental medicine because I wanted to offer people options outside of just becoming a medicine cabinet for the pharmaceutical companies. And I'm not anti-allopathic medicine, because I believe, in the words of the co-founder of our university, Maryland University of Integrative Health, Dr. Diane Connolly, she put it so eloquently: medicine is whatever helps. Mm-hmm. I believe medicine is whatever helps. And sometimes we neglect our bodies for such a prolonged period of time that we have to take the medicines in order to jar our bodies back to a state of balance. But I believe that there should be more options available for people other than a pill for every ill. And that's why I did this, to give people options.
I like it. I like it. So what was your first experience with acupuncture?
My very first experience with acupuncture was my godmother. She saw me in her salon and I had dropped something, and I went to pick it up with my toes and kind of bent down a little bit to get it from my feet, because I had had a knee injury in high school. I was a cheerleader, and I was jealous heifer purposely dropped me from pyramid because she was dating my ex, who was a ball player. He came to the gym and spoke to me, but didn't speak to her. And since she was holding me up, she dropped me. And she held my ankles long enough for me to not be able to prevent my fall or cushion my fall. And I almost busted both my kneecaps. And so for years, I was not able to bend my knees. And so when my godmother saw it, she said, you know, I have something I want to treat you to. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's going to be a massage or something, because she knew how afraid of needles I was. And so because she had paid for it, it was her treat and everything, she sent me to an acupuncturist who had just relocated from New York to Baltimore, Baba Fadade Jasper Willis. And I went to him for acupuncture. I was like, oh my God, scared the daylights out of me. I'm like, you're going to stick needles in me? Oh my God. But I was there. And so I just said, okay, let's just go for it. I laid there on the table and I closed my eyes. And to my chagrin, it was not painful, because my only mental reference to needles were hypodermic needles in my primary care physician's office. And needless to say, from that point on of being treated by him, I've been able to bend my knees ever since. So that was my first acupuncture experience, treating old trauma wounds.
Nice. All right, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So you have moved a long way from treating knee bones to treating other kind of bones. How did that happen?
You know what? I was not ready.
Jump.
Okay, we taking the gloves off now. We 12 minutes in. Okay, let me roll up my sleeves.
Because I am dying to know, like, how did you go from, oh, this feels good on my old knees, to let me help you get down on your knees and throw it back? Like, how did?
Oh. You know what? I thought I was ready for you.
No. I'm having all the fun today. I've been excited about this.
Well, I want to say this. Before I went to school to become a doctor of Oriental medicine, I studied Tantra and became a Tantra practitioner. I enjoy sex, and I just think everybody should. And I feel that when people are in pain, it is a hindrance to intimacy and sex. Yeah. Intimacy especially. You know, it's hard to cuddle up with your significant other if your back is hurting or your knees are hurting or you're experiencing migraines and all of those things. And on the other spectrum of that is, it's difficult to experience intimacy with your partner if you're having erectile dysfunction issues or if you're experiencing vaginal dryness and things of that nature. So I started out on the energetic side with Tantra and then decided to take it to the physical side through assisting people with acupuncture. And so far in my practice, I have helped people, men with erectile dysfunction issues, premature ejaculation, women with low libido, vaginal dryness. And I feel good that I'm helping them to feel good.
Excellent. It's a worthy cause. And so, you know, you mentioned being able to enjoy yourself. And one of the things that causes a lot of hangups, and one of my favorite topics of all time, is the fact that stress really takes down the body. So when you're under stress and under duress, it can complicate a lot of these issues, particularly for male health. A lot of men don't realize it. If you are too stressed out, you cannot perform.
This is true. This is true. And I try to encourage their partners to understand that. Why both the men and the women who are partnered with each other. I try to encourage them to understand that and to create an environment for each other that's conducive for romance, that's conducive for intimacy. If a woman is already working 40 hours in the week and then she comes home, it's Friday night, she's looking at how she has to clean the house, she has to do the dishes, she has to do the laundry. The last thing on her mind when she's ready to go to bed is intimacy. So I encourage her partners to help out, take something off of her plate. And the same thing when it comes to men. You know, as stressful as the world is for us, is just as much so for men of color, and especially these past few years. So when a man is out and, you know, he's going through whatever he's going through on his job and battling all the, you know, the dragons out there, when he comes home, he wants peace. He wants peace so he can get a peace. Because contrary to what women think, men don't necessarily want it all the time. They're not necessarily in the mood all the time. They get stressed out as well. There are times when they don't feel like it. And if you've been nagging that man all week, What man wants to roll up in the bed and make love to a woman who has emasculated him all week long? And now you think he's going to want to perform? Mm-mm. So we, with my clients, I look at it from the entire relationship dynamics, even down to asking them, how do you feel about sex? How do you feel about it? Because when we come into the bedroom with our significant others, we're not just bringing our bodies, we're bringing our thoughts, our imaginations, our hangups, our traumas, everything that is surrounding our notion, our self-image. There's some women that may, and men, who may not want to necessarily make love with the lights on because they have a poor body image.
That is a thing.
There are some who have experienced sexual trauma. And it's not just something that's exclusive to women and girls. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about the sexual traumas that men have experienced or that boys have experienced, but just like little girls are out here getting raped and molested, there are little boys who are being raped and molested too. But we don't provide a safe space for the men and the boys to communicate without feeling emasculated or put down or, dehumanized in a sense. And so they're bringing all of that too. And sometimes they get triggered as well. You might say something to that man and he might go soft and you're wondering what happened. Well, you said something probably that the person who molested him as a child probably said.
So that brings me back to the TCM side of things. So in traditional Chinese medicine, a lot of our sexual functions are wrapped up in both the liver and the kidney, the liver and kidney systems. And so the liver system is responsible for emotions of stress and anger and frustration. And the kidney system is responsible for things like fear and anxiety. But the kidney system is also related to our gene or our epigenetics, which is how we think of things from a Western standpoint. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things that you're saying definitely ring back to what I think of in terms of TCM and how the body functions. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, one of the first things I look at as it relates to bodily functions, I look at the medications that people may be taking, especially men. Because if they're taking medications for blood pressure, then that's going to affect their sex drive, their ability to become erect. If they are burning through their jing, their life force energy, because they're living an excessively young lifestyle, then that's going to have an effect on their performance in the bed as well.
I don't know if our listeners know what a young lifestyle is. Come on, bring us all.
Okay. Young, like think about Western, everything Western is young. We are excessive with everything. We can't just work 40 hours with one job. We got to work 80 hours a week with two jobs. We're overworked. We're under rested. We are excessive in our diet. With everything that we do, we overdo it. We don't find time to tend to ourselves, to rest, to heal, to nurture ourselves, to bring that balance. And because of that, we wear ourselves out. We burn through our life force energy. And then we wonder why we see so many 30, 40-year-olds who are now having erectile issues because they're burning through everything. They're living their life as if they could die in 5 minutes.
All right, keep going. Get away. Talk all about the sex. Talk about the liver, the kidneys. Talk about the lifestyle. Talk about the diet. Talk about all the things. I'm sorry, excuse my child. He likes to photobomb. I can't see.
Well, what you eat plays a big role as well. People who are eating a lot of fatty foods, bad fats. People who are consuming a lot of sugars and sodas and alcohol and who are smoking, and that includes marijuana as well. All of those things play a role in how we show up in the bed. When we are, and now I'm stepping on my own toes because I have gained the COVID 20. I think I gained the COVID 30 really, but but our weight plays a role in it as well, because when we're overweight, we put more strain and pressure on the heart. And so, you know, we may not be able to do as much cardio. We may not be able to hang as well, because sex is a workout. Sex is a workout when it's good. When it's good, it is a workout. You can burn some calories, you can sweat it out, you can sweat your perm out, you can, you know, mess up your lock maintenance, all of that. When it's good.
When it's like muscles you didn't know you had.
Exactly. Exactly. So when it's good.
When it's good, it's definitely a workout. We've talked quite a bit about how, and we don't talk about a lot about male sexual performance in our societies, because it's just like you're just virile and that's it. And if you have to take the little blue pill, nobody wants to talk about that. But one of the things that is often overlooked when we're talking about sex is women's libido. Like that gets no airtime whatsoever. And there are definitely women out there who experience vaginismus. For those of you who don't know what that is a very unpleasant clenching of the vaginal area. It can be really, really painful, and it can stop penetration of the penis or any other object that you might want to insert in there. Be safe. We don't talk about things like vaginal dryness, which requires people to be able to have lubes. We don't talk about lack of orgasm in women. It's kind of like if guys get off, then hey, that's just what it is, right? Then we've fun. So what about female sexual health and well-being? What would you recommend for that?
Well, the first thing I would do, I look into people's history, because if women have been sexually traumatized, then sex with, it starts in the mind. And if a woman has been sexually traumatized as a child, if her development was interrupted, or even as a teen, or some women even in adulthood, if they've been raped or violated in any kind of violent way, they bring that energy into the bedroom with them. So the number one thing that I suggest and recommend is professional counseling. Professional counseling to help them to overcome whatever mental blockages that they have. Because for women, if our mind isn't there, our bodies are not going to follow. So when the vajayjay is shutting down, it's because the brain has blocked everything and views it as another trauma experience, which is why I practice Tantra energy healing work, because it helps to break those trauma blockages energetically. Scientists have already proven that trauma is passed down from generation to generation at the cellular level. So the only way to break a cellular generational curse, not to sound churchy, is to meet it heads on with cellular work, energetic work, and Tantra helps to do that. I also encourage the women to communicate, and for their partners, male or female, to listen. Some women may take more time. They may need more time. They may need you to, suck their nipples a little longer. So, or if she doesn't like having her nipples sucked, like I had to tell one gentleman, he was like, these are his words. He was like, oh, I'm a titty man. We're like, okay, you might be a titty man, but she may not like you sucking on her titties. So find another way. Suck where she wants you to suck, where it's gonna feel good. Meet her where she is so she can meet you where you want to be.
I had a conversation like that with a client recently, where she required a very specific series of things that she found sexually exciting. And she's just like, well, it doesn't work for me the normal way. I'm like, the normal way is the way that works for you. That's the only thing that's normal. Whatever it is that works for you. It's not about what worked for that previous person or what your partner may like. It's about, a mutual beneficial exchange of energy. So there are a variety of erogenous zones besides the obvious. We have the vaginal region or the penile region, and then we have the nipples, which are very sensitive in both males and females. But are there some other erogenous zones that people forget about?
Licking behind the knee.
That's a good one.
Licking behind the knee. You would be surprised at how sensitive that area is for men and women. Mm-hmm. Licking between the elbow. The underarm is erogenous for some people.
I would die laughing. That would never work for me. Dwayne is in there mouthing off something. I can't hear what she's saying, but she going off.
She's like, not the underarm. No. Now, some people, that turns them on. Sucking your toes, sucking your fingers. And since we all grown in here, there's some people who like, I believe the term is tossing the salad.
Anal stimulation is how some people are wired, both male and female. People forget women can be anally stimulated and that it can be something that is enjoyable. So from a TCM perspective, what should people do to kind of help boost their bodies along for optimal sexual health?
Meditation, Qigong. You'd be surprised. Some of the simple movements of Qigong, I'd send people, you can go to YouTube and get any and everything under sun. You can type in Qigong for beginners. And there are a lot of different videos that will pop up that would help to tone and strengthen your body. And they also help you to gently lose weight as well. It's not strenuous on your muscles or your joints. Excuse me, meditation techniques. I also recommend binaural beats and resonance therapy to some of my patients. You can just go to YouTube and type in binaural beats to increase libido, and boom, a whole series of things will pop up for men and women. That also helps at the cellular level when it comes to resonance therapy or sound therapy. Eating your diet, drinking less soda, drinking less coffee, drinking less alcohol, increasing your water intake, natural juices, eating things that are specific to the organs like liver, kidney beans, fish that's high in fatty acids like salmon, things of that nature that are really, really healthy for you. I don't necessarily recommend a lot of salads to people, cold salads, unless they're going to put some sort of grilled chicken or something in there to balance it out, because the spleen does not like cold, and the energetic signature of salads is cold, which is why you have to balance it out with like a grilled meat.
Grilled meats, kinds of things to help protect the digestion. So there are some people who may not be familiar with a little bit of these things. In traditional Chinese medicine, we really don't do raw, cold, or all vegetarian things. And the reason being is because all of the systems can't be supported that way. Particularly with the spleen and stomach system, we say that it needs to be warm to be able to cook things. And so if you're constantly dumping cold things on it, what you're going to find is that you have some indigestion. And just like the rest of the body, if the body isn't well nourished, and that's because you have indigestion, then you won't have the chi or the energy or the stamina to be able to perform sex adequately, right? In terms of fats, because, you know, we've been demonizing fats in this country for a really, really long time, but especially
that was purposeful.
Well, yeah, we ain't gonna get into the sugar debate. Wait a minute, that's a long conversation.
That was a purposeful setup.
For them studies, right? That was a straight
the brain
setup.
needs fat in order to function.
The brain needs fats in order to function, but so do your body needs fats in order to make hormones. So
yes.
Finding themselves in situations where you're having a hormonal dysregulation or a lack of a hormone, a part of the problem simply could be that you're not getting enough healthy fats in your diet in order to be able to produce estrogen, in order to be able to produce progesterone, in order to be able to produce testosterone, and even to be able to produce things like your own natural steroids that help out with inflammation and pain and repair. So healthy fats are absolutely an imperative part of the diet, and fats are better digested when they've been cooked, particularly when they've been cooked with something a little bit pungent like ginger or onion or garlic. It helps to aid in digestion. Like, we don't do naturopathic medicine over here. We do the TCM style of stuff, right? And so the other thing that she was talking about when she's talking about not only healthy fats, but the appropriate kind of vegetation, when we want to support our kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine, we like foods that are dark in color. So things like purple yam, black beans, red cabbages, cherries, things that are dark help to support your kidney function. And by helping to support your kidney function, you help to support your sexual energy. Are there any other diet recommendations that you have there, Dr. Hall?
I would avoiding sugar.
Oh yeah, that's a big
avoiding unnatural sugar, refined sugars. Avoid it as much as possible. avoid it as much as possible. I know, Thanksgiving is around the corner, and I know usually all diets are off.
Look, we are already looking for baking tins up in here.
But avoiding the refined sugar as much as possible, because it creates inflammation in the body and in the joints, which eventually leads to stagnation and pain. And you don't want that. You want to be able to lay down with your partner and just thoroughly enjoy one another. And I encourage people to thoroughly enjoy one another. Take your time and explore. Even when it comes to religious people, I tell people, like, the Song of Solomon was thrown in there for a reason. I consider it heavy duty 16th century porn. And the first time I read it, I was like, okay, did they really mean to put this in here?
I don't know that one, and I think I'm gonna have to go look that one up, because I
oh, honey,
particular.
Honey, can I tell you? Can I tell you?
I'm familiar.
Song of Solomon. Let me see if I can find something real quick.
Oh Lord.
Because we just finished having like a regular Bible study here. So I still have my Bible on the table. But Song of Solomon will teach you some stuff. It will teach you some stuff. It's 16th century porn. This is Song of Solomon. This is Song of Solomon, chapter 7. Because sometimes, and I'm also an ordained and licensed elder in the church. And one of the primary reasons why I wanted to study Tantra is to help people in church. Because when I was married, there were a lot of married women that would come to me. And then there were some married men that would tell me, help my wife, please. Bishops' wives, deacons, elders' wives. You'd be surprised how many people I have silently taught how to elevate things in their bedroom. And sex has always been viewed as a type of taboo. Something that is always taught as, something sinful and dirty and nasty and demonic. And when you teach people these things, especially women that are coming up in religious settings, and then when they get married, they bring that into the bedroom with them. That is dirty and it's nasty and it's sinful. So what I've had to do, and I had a conversation with someone as recently as right before the pandemic. And she was saying she was a virgin when she got married. And the only conversation that had ever been had with her growing up about sex was that it was sinful, it was evil. If you do it, you're gonna go to hell. So now here she is married, and they're still, they've been married less than 5 years. So technically they're still honeymooners. And that is the only thing that she thinks every time she goes to bed with her husband, that this is dirty, it is nasty, it is sinful. So that's why for people like that, I take it right to the word. God made sex, and sex is beautiful. And when done well, oh my gosh, it's divine. You can actually have an out-of-body experience. You can have an out-of-body experience. Chapter 7.
I just want Dwayne to herself. I want to know what she's saying over there. Song of Solomon, what does it say?
It says, how beautiful are thy feet with shoes, O princess daughter. The joints of thy thighs are like jewels, the work of the hands of a cunning workman. Thy navel is like a round goblet, which wanteth not liquor. Thy belly is like a heap of wheat, set about with lilies. Thy two breasts are like two young roes that are twins. Thy neck is as a tower of ivory. Thy eyes are like the fish pools in Heshbon, by the gate of Bathrabbim. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looketh toward Damascus. Thy head, this is how you make love to somebody right here. I'm trying to tell you, from head to toe. He's talking about old girl's nose and everything. How fair art thou, how fair and pleasant art thou, O love, for delights. How pleasant art thou for delights. What he delighting in? He all up in that. He all up in it. from the crown of her head to her tippy toes and every place in between. He talking about her breasts, he talking about her nose, he talking about her neck. So I encourage people, make love. Make love. Penetration, that's the end game. That's the end game. That's fourth quarter. First, second, and third quarter, you need to be taking some pages from King Solomon. You know, he had about 1,000 women, right? So
I don't actually spend a lot of time with the Bibles. I'm a slightly different walk in life, but you know, I might have to go read that particular series of passages. That is deep.
But let me tell you, the part that I like the most, he said, thy stature is like a palm tree, and thy breasts to clusters of grapes. I said, I will go to the palm tree. I will take hold of the boughs thereof. Now also thy breasts shall be as clusters of the vine, and the smell of thy nose like apples, and the roof of thy mouth like the best wine for my beloved, that go down sweetly, causing the lips of those who are asleep to speak. Now, if that ain't a midnight blowjob, I don't know what is. And that's the end of that.
Right. So that is definitely a very different approach than what a lot of people have become accustomed to our horn-driven world, right? There's not a lot of time for it. And we are definitely about taking it slow and taking your time in traditional Chinese medicine. We like slow cooked food. We like slow simmered intimacy, right? This is where Tantra and those kinds of things come in. It is really about learning to stop and to take your time and to make exploring your partner a bit of a meditation and a bit of a break, right? Like that is really important. And this is why things like Tai Chi and Qigong are also encouraged, because it helps the brain to slow down, like that yang style that you were talking about before. In functional medicine, we would say things like your sympathetic nervous system is on overdrive, right? So that's the of your nervous system, the part of you that has to be able to fight and run and flee and do all of the things so that you can survive. However, that is not the part of you that wants to have sex. And so things like Qigong, things like Tantra, things like exploring your partner and taking your time gives your nervous system an opportunity to calm down so that you can enter the parasympathetic nervous stage and so that you can actually be able to perform better. And remember, there is no right way. There's only the consensual way. Whatever you like and whatever they like is the only that actually matters in all of that. And it is unfortunate that a lot of people have the Victorian view of sex, that it's something horrible, dirty and nasty and sinful. That's not terribly useful in having great sexual relations. So are there any points that you like for helping people with getting the groove on?
Okay, now enter my model.
Enter the model. Look, this is why I had the child run and grab the foot in case we needed some extra props.
So here's my model.
Hi, model.
I like his shirt. You can't see his face.
I can't see his face. In Beards We Trust. Beard games matter.
So he has an awesome beard. With this point is CV4. So to find this point, you find the tip, your belly button here.
I can't see no belly button.
Yeah, you can lift the shirt. He's gonna lift the shirt.
There we go, belly button.
I feel like I need to add some music.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so slide over just a little bit.
There we go.
Now place your hand at the tip of your pelvic, at the top of your pelvic bone. So which finger is the top? This one. Okay. So with this being the top of the pelvic bone, from here to here, the belly button, divide that in half. This point right here is CV4. CV4, conception, it stands for conception vessel. It is the most yin meridian pathway on the body. And as you can see, it starts at the center of the perineum and it goes all the way up to the center of the chin. So it goes through our organs, all of our organ system. But this point is excellent for building blood, for building chi. It's also excellent for increasing the libido. So Thank you.
Thank you, model.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you.
So now that we know that we do need to spend a little time loving on our bellies, and that includes our fupas, if you're my size, right? So one of the ways that you can do that is that you can take a warm stone and then you can hold it over that point. You can massage it with your finger. You can place it on it. I learned that from Mama Efwa. I was like, a bean? She's like, a bean.
A bean. Or some moxa. Put some heat to it, some moxa. If you are in the midst of the act with your partner, you can also direct your attention and send your energy into that area, and you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You'll start feeling it. You'll start feeling it.
Right.
And something that I also encourage people to do, and of course I'm not able to do because this is a public forum, and children are in some of our rooms, placing your finger in the center of the perineum, your middle finger on the center of the perineum, while placing your thumb either on the tip of the clitoris or the tip of the penis, and to blow, lick, suck, whatever you want to do. Don't spend as much time on the head, because in genital reflexology with the male penis, the heart is along the tip of the penis and the lungs are on the side. So you don't want to overstimulate that area because you don't want them to have a heart attack or anything like that. But just apply some pressure to the tip of the penis, and depending on how long he is, you may have to have one finger from your left or right hand on the tip of the penis and the middle finger of your other hand in the center of the perineum, and take your time and enjoy them. You would be surprised. And the same thing, for the ladies, one finger in the center of the perineum, CV1, and your thumb on the tip of the clitoris, and make love to her. Stay down there, kiss, lick, suck, rub, fondle, all of that, but maintain that connection, and you will see some excitement begin to happen.
So again, I'm like, doing the translation between what you're saying and like bringing it back to traditional Chinese medicine. What most people may not know is that there are acupuncture points on your perineum.
Yes.
So we have
yes.
one and do one. And so these are the channels that travel the spine, which is the do channel. And then the Ren channel or the CV channel is the channel that flows the middle. And it actually starts right there in the perineum, potato, right? And right there. And so there are a lot of things that we fix in traditional Chinese medicine. I don't personally, because I'm not touching anybody's Ren one or do one, period.
I have done a CVGV treatment quite a few times, I will say.
I'm not doing it. Like, I will refer you out, and not the kid. I'm not like, I had, but let me tell you, in clinic at school, we had this guy that came in and he had ED, and we had to put needles in there, and we actually added a little moxa, and I was just like, I cannot believe this man is letting us do this to him. But it worked. He had
it works.
Oh my gosh, he had prostate surgery, and they had clipped his nerve. And so this guy, this gorgeous girlfriend, she was hot. And I was just like, dag, ma. And he's like, man, it's not working the way that it used to. Please fix it. I want to get back. And so like, he let us do it. He let us put needles in there. We hit it up with moxa, and he was able to get his erection back. And so like, I realized how wonderful those points are. Especially being in people's homes and it's not a clinic, I am just not comfortable lifting up a glute and inserting needles. It's like, what about it? Whatever. Beautiful thing about acupuncture, I make my rules. What is one of your favorite success stories, Dr. Hall?
Oh gosh, one of my favorite success stories, this particular married couple, heterosexual married couple, the wife took my Tantra class, level 1, a couple of years ago. And then he just took the class a couple of months ago. And when she started coming in for acupuncture, it was because her libido was low.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had to take her through everything. Like, what are your thoughts towards sex? How do you feel about sex? And sure enough, her mind, she's very left brain oriented. So she would overthink things. And, her husband, he watches porn or whatever, nothing unusual about that. But she had in her mind that he was using her as like a type of blow up doll. Like she was just basically like a cum catcher or whatever. And I had her to change that story around. I'm like, did he say that to you? Well, no. I said, so then this is possibly a story that you have created without communicating how you're feeling to him. Have you ever talked to him about how you feel? Like, well, no. So during that weekend, where I taught them one-on-one with the class and everything, they were able to open up. They were able to communicate through acupuncture, regular acupuncture. She was able to increase her libido, the acupuncture and ear seeds. Her libido increased. They started having great sex. They took my Tantra class. And yes, breath work and meditation and all of that is a part of Tantra. But when it comes to ancient Tantra, there's a lot of energy healing work that goes into it. And I teach people that you don't have to penetrate one another in order to have an orgasm.
Mhm.
And so I taught them how to bring each other to full-bodied energetic orgasm with their clothes still on. So looking at that as a part of establishing intimacy, being one with each other, nurturing each other, changing the stories that you have about each other, communicating your sexual needs and desires, and then going into the bed without judgment of yourself or of your partner. And to see them transform, it's been amazing. Amazing. Now, because he works for the Pentagon, I can't put any of the videos up with them working on each other, but but just being able to just slightly apply pressure to a different area of the body and to see your partner's whole body trembling on the table because they're having a full-blown energetic orgasm and you haven't even penetrated them and they haven't even taken off one item of clothing.
That is beautiful. That's what I love about energetic medicine, the things that you can definitely get accomplished with energetic medicine. So I'll open it up for questions. I don't see any on Facebook, but I'm obviously being technically challenged today. Dr. Hall or Dr. Wilson, if you guys want to bring one up or type one in or let one out, I'll let you know. Like one of my favorite points is right behind, I'm trying to like get this light to happen on my
kidney. Yes.
Right. So I like to do the kidney line, but not just one point. I tell people like do this whole little indentation that happens on the back here on the Achilles tendon. It's right behind the inside of the ankle bone, the malleolus, and you'll feel this divot right here. And if you give some love, particularly some warm love, all the way up a couple of fingers worth, right? We say 3 fingers, my model is short. If we say 3 fingers, then you'll get several kidney points right here that are really for helping to increase your kidney energy, which is necessary in order to be able to have good sexual function in traditional Chinese medicine. All right, Facebook land and Zoom land. Do you guys have any questions for Dr. Hall before we run out of any time? Tanya's like, no. So much stuff to say this whole call, and now she quiet over there. I don't understand.
I got Patty and Gladys playing in the background. That's why.
Oh, yes, the original verses of 2020. Now that's a way to end the decade right there.
Right there, definitely right there, right? Okay, so then continuing on with good sexual health. So some of the things that we've talked about is making sure that you have an appropriate diet. Some unusual or maybe not so well-known dietary ideas to help support good sexual function for men would include oysters. Right? We demonize shellfish in our naturopathic communities, but oysters have a lot of zinc and calcium and different things that help to support good male health. Other good supplements to be able to get into your diet that also unfortunately come from a lot of meat sources is arginine. Arginine really helps to support the cardiovascular health for men's health. And then for women, it's particularly important not only for stress management, but also to make sure that you have good, healthy fats coming into your diet. You got to be able to pull up that estrogen and progesterone if you want to be able to deal with things like vaginal diet, dryness, and imbalance in your hormones. So those are important. Tai Chi and Qigong is important because that helps out again with controlling the nervous system, right? Those controlling of the nervous system, you're either in fight, flight, and freeze, or you're in rest and digest. Intimacy is definitely a rest and digest type activity, but you shouldn't be trying to come down out of fight, flight, and freeze in the bedroom, right? We got to be able to get used to doing these things before we come into the bedroom. And then when we get into the bedroom, it's important to take our time so that the body and the mind and the nervous system has a chance to line up. Again, for all of that nice, slow, good, loving, and Song of Solomon from her heads to her toes, or his heads and his toes, right? Areas that are often overlooked for sexual intimacy include the perineum. Like, nobody ever wants to talk about that poor little guy. He's always just kind of hanging out in the background, but they are acupuncture points, right? That's really one, if anyone wants to go and look those up. And then y'all need to rest. Like, in that young go society, like, for real though, you need some sleep. We have talked about how sex is a workout, and if you are into working out, which currently I am suffering from a lack of.
Oh, you are funny.
But if you're ever into, if you're really into working out and you know about how to take care of the body, then you definitely don't need to push it in the way that intimacy will without adequate rest, adequate hydration, and adequate food intake, like, and not sugar, right? Not sugar. And sugar is in a lot of things. Sugar includes fruit. I like to bring that up. If you sit and you eat 5 mangoes, you might as well have just had a candy bar. That's a lot of sugar. And it's like, yeah, I had peaches, I had apples, I had a mango, I had some grapes, I had some pomegranate. Did you have some food?
Exactly. That whole fruitarian thing. No.
That is still a lot of sugar, right? So wait, are you both anestheticians? Who's an anesthetician, Dwaynia? Ooh, that glowing skin.
We both are.
But that's why we're not scared of that area.
Yeah, no, I just,
because we had to learn to wax it.
No.
Yeah.
From the rooter to the tutor, as they say.
Let me tell you how you ain't about to put no hot wax anywhere near my cookie jar.
I had people fall asleep during my Brazilians.
No,
that's why
I'm traumatized.
Like, oh, I'm not doing life.
No, I have a ball shaver. It's called a man groomer. And since we're talking about sex, one of my dear friends, Ty, turned me on to his ball shaver. He's like, I got my ball shaver. I'm like, what the hell is a ball shaver? What is that? Right? And so it is the gentlest razor on the market. It is called a man groomer. It's not just for men, obviously, because I'm using it, right? But I have never been nicked. I have never been cut. I've never been scratched. I've never had a problems. It get into all the crooks and ninnies and cracks and all of those things, because we got a lot of petals happening for women. And then, balls, they got a lot of wrinkles and all those kinds of things. And then being able to have good hygiene is important. So I have a trimmer, and you ain't about to whip no wax off of me nowhere. You can't, look, I can't even wax like my chin, my eyebrows, nothing. It is not the business. But good personal hygiene is also important when it comes to intimacy. Women in particular are very prone to urinary tract infections. And it's not because you or your partner is dirty. It is simply because you got the pleasure zone right next to the output zone. And women have 2 output zones down there, and they're all kind of like lined up right in the row. So making sure that there's adequate hygiene so that you're not dealing with things like interstitial cystitis, which is like this kind of horrible thing that you go through with your bladder, where it feels like you have a bladder infection and you don't, so that you don't end up with bladder infections, so that you don't end up with things like bacteria vaginosis or an pH balance that is off kilter, right? Like you do that. Do you have any washes or different things that you like, Dr. Hall? I would say yin care, but since we can't get it right now,
well,
I'm terrified of what they're going to do to it.
Well, different things work for different people. So there are a lot of things that are out there, a lot of different products. And so I encourage people to explore and see what works best for you. Because I tell people what bakes your bread might leave mine raw, and what bakes my bread might burn yours. So there are plenty of products out there for people to choose from, but it is very important. Cleanliness cannot be overemphasized. The last thing you want, fellas, you want her to go down and provide some oral pleasure, but your balls are smelling, or your scrotum is smelling a little like feces because you didn't wipe down there correctly, or you didn't shower. No, seriously. And women, because like you just said, Dr. Dandridge, we have a lot of folds up in there. Get in there, get in those creases, get in those folds, make sure everything is nice and squeaky down there. You want your salad tossed, make sure the bowl is clean before you put some lettuce in it.
Okay. Lisa Hops has just joined on. What are particular points to increase libido for postmenopausal women? So for me personally, for increasing postmenopausal libido, again, I would say go ahead and massage the whole inner line. And don't just stop right next to the ankle bone. Go ahead and creep your way on up in there. And even immediately above the ankle bone, there's a point up there called spleen 6, which is great for all things yin. And when we're talking about postmenopausal issues, we are talking about, it's on Facebook, y'all. It's not, I got to look over on my phone every now and then. Don't worry, I'm multitasking, right? So all these points around your ankle are really awesome for helping out the kidney yin, kidney yang, which is important for being able to help out kidney yin. And then there's a point called spleen 6, which is 3 fingers up from the tip of the malleolus to the medial malleolus, the inside of your ankle bone. I tried not to speak medicalese. Dr. Pamela Hall, do you have some favorite points for helping to boost libido helping to boost libido for women, whether they're postmenopausal or not postmenopausal?
Well, kidney 3 and 4 and spleen 6, which you just showed them how to do, CV4, which we did a demonstration on earlier, and also just taking your time, not putting so much pressure on yourself to perform. Your body is going through changes, and it is okay. It is okay to age. We have this thing where, I don't know why we're so anti-aging in this society, but our bodies go through different changes. And like Maya Angelou used to talk about how, she loved growing old. She considered it an adventure, seeing how her body is going to be. Exploring yourself, whether it's through masturbation or whether it's through experimentation with toys or different things, finding out where your body is now. Because even though, I like to laugh and joke and tell people I'm 27 and a half, but I just turned 52.
Really? Girl,
yes.
You look good.
Thank
You
you.
look good.
Thank you. So at 52 and going through, the stages, I'm looking forward to when this menses stops. But I don't expect my body to be at 52 the way that it was when I was 18.
Yeah. That is a natural part of aging in the sexual process, is that you want it less. You have an overabundance, you have a young state of hormones when you're in your teens and your 20s. That does begin to change and decline as you get into your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a good, healthy sex life. Right?
Exactly. It just means that now at 52, I know what I'm doing. And there's a difference between quality and quantity.
Yes,
when we're young, it's quantity. We're trying to get it in, we can fit it in, and get it in every time they can fit it in. But then as we grow older, we become more refined in our taste. And now, because I practice Tantra, now I've become what one sister in Atlanta calls a tantric snob. I'm a tantric snob now, because I realize how important it is when you're laying down with someone that you're at the same level energetically, so that when the encounter is over, I'm not left with toxic womb syndrome because you dumped all your toxic energy into me, not just your semen, but your energy. And now I have to go about the business of getting yoni steams and all of that stuff to cleanse all of that energetic garbage out of me, because I'm not just laying with you, but I'm laying with you and every other person who has laid with you.
Absolutely.
And so now I have to cleanse myself. And also being a tantric snob in the sense that if you can't make me have an orgasm and I'm in Maryland and you're in North Korea, we can't talk. I'm at the grown folk level. There are different levels of orgasm. There's the little boy, little girl orgasm, which is dealing with manipulative stimulation, which is oral sex, toys, vibrators, fake vaginas, all of that. There's the teenager level, which most people are at if they're lucky, and that comes through penetration, orgasm through penetration. And then there's tantra, where you can bring someone to a full body orgasm without even being the same state that they're in.
Yes.
Ask me how I know. I've done it. I teach people how to do it. I can tag you in the link to a video that I just posted a few weeks ago with my level 2 class. They shocked the daylights out of themselves. They weren't even in the same room with the brother and had him flopping on the table like a fish. That is grown folk level. So when we get to our 50s and 60s and things don't have to stop, we just learn how to cultivate it and make it better. That's all, honey.
That's all.
That's all, honey. Because tantra is more than just, you know, poses and breathing and all of that. There's some energy work going on. When I have clients, I've had a client, the farthest I projected energy to was to one of our soldiers stationed in South Korea. And he felt as if I was right in the room with him. His wife was very happy that night when he came to bed. She felt the energetic difference, but the before and the after. Now I'm in America. He's in South Korea. That's some grown folk-ish.
Right there.
As the young people say.
We got a question from Jenna. Where are your tantric classes? Like, if you tell me the link, maybe I can type it in for her.
Well, you have to see me. You can follow me at Dr. Ye Wong on Instagram, DrYewong. Okay. And inbox me for the class, because right now with COVID, the classes that I've done since quarantine have been couples isolated in their own homes, you know, sterilized environment. But as soon as they give us free.
So many things once we give, right? Once free begins to happen here.
Then we're going to be having a class, because your sex life doesn't have to diminish.
Oh, wait a minute. Some more class. I don't know, like, there's like a lag on my Facebook. Okay, so Emily Kwong says, do they need to actively, energetically clean themselves, or does internal development naturally help the old energy dissipate? So talking about bringing your old energies with you. So that's a multi-level conversation. You definitely need to clean your body, but epigenetics, yes. Like, you know, you have to make changes to your epigenetics. And that is, again, what we're talking about when you're bringing that energy from your past forward, because all of your experiences actually change how your cells continue to present themselves. And so can you answer, I want to make sure I got them all. Because there seems to be a lag, and I didn't mean to leave you out, Emily. Can you answer ways of energetically cleaning yourself?
Some of the ways that you can energetically clean yourself are through yoni steams, and there are a lot of yoni steam practitioners around the country. They even have where they're selling some of the herb packages on Amazon, so you can purchase it yourself, which is a heck of a lot cheaper, and to do it yourself at home. Yoni eggs. I would start with the clear crystal. Definitely don't want to use any dark crystals. A clear crystal would be excellent. Don't start out with the big ones unless you've been practicing your Kegel exercises and your muscles are strong enough to hold it in, because of course the bigger the egg, the heavier it is. You want something that's going to be able to stay up in there. Meditation. There are a lot of self-help books. Resonance therapy that we talked about earlier. Going on to YouTube and typing in binaural beats 4 and whatever you want at the end of that. They have binaural beats for fibromyalgia, which I've played for my patients during their treatments. They have binaural beats for libido, which I've played for my patients during their treatment. They have binaural beats for everything that you can think of, because every part of the human body has a corresponding resonance or sound that will help to facilitate healing. And YouTube, glorious thing, is free.
Isn't it?
Go in there and just type whatever binaural beat that you want to pull up and let it play. Let it play.
And as far as when it comes to yoni steams, people don't know that yoni steaming is actually a part of traditional Chinese medicine. I had to go and educate myself on that. I am not recommending anybody's yoni pearls. Please do not stick anything up in your vagina unless it has been prescribed to you by a medical practitioner, period. Right? But with yoni steams, it's not that hard. All we're talking about is boiling the same kind of steam that you would do for your sinuses. You're talking about boiling a little water, adding some herbs to it, and then letting a medicinal steam come into that area. Yoni steams are also good for men. People know that men can do that too. It is nice to have a nice little warm treatment.
Lingam steam.
That is a thing, right? So those are some of the things that you can do energetically to clean yourself. If you're going to participate with things like yoni eggs or yoni wands, please make sure that, again, that you make sure that you're very, very clean when you're participating in these activities, so that you're not accidentally transferring bacteria from one session to the next, or from one area of your body to the next. And totally start with a medium-sized eggs. The small ones can be a little hard to grip if you don't know how to close down quite yet. What people don't know about yoni eggs and Kegel exercises, people think it's just about up, and it's not. You got to be able to push down as and it, you know, when you get good with it. So when you get good with it, you can actually flip an egg around, right? Eggs can be moved around inside of the vaginal cavity. So there are a whole bunch of muscles, and they can work independently, just like fingers. So there are a lot of exercises that you can do. And these things are also really good for postmenopausal women, because you're directing chi and blood flow down into that region of your body, again, to help out with overall sexual function. All right, this was fun.
I am so looking forward to when we are all able to safely go outside and gather again, because I'm looking forward to teaching more classes, Tantra classes, and you would be surprised at how very intermingled tantric energy work and traditional Chinese medicine is. You'd be very surprised. Yes. It's a beautiful marriage. It's a beautiful marriage. Because I teach my students about the kidney meridian, the liver. We learn about all of that in the classes. And of course, you know, being the left-brained person that I can be, I want people to get all the theory and the information. But I know that people are paying because they want to know, like, how can I make my significant other plus one with me being at work and they're at home? That's what they pay for.
That's what they pay for. But a good, healthy sex life is good for your brain. It's good for stress, for depression. It's good for anxiety. Your body releases a lot of neurotransmitters, a lot of happy hormones, dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, those kinds of things, whenever you're having an orgasm. So someone was texting me while we were here, and it's like, acupuncture and sex. I was like, yeah,
yes.
Life. It is balance, right? You got to have good digestion, you got to have a good immune system, and you got to have a good sex life. And this is why, and then, you know, the various levels of sex that you were talking about. When you're younger, you're trying to get it in like rabbits, but when you're older, you got to conserve more of that chi and more of that jing, and it becomes a different kind of sex life. So Dr. Wall, this has been a haul. Don't know where that came from.
I think you were combining Ye Wong.
Because y'all are on the bottom
Ye
of the
Wong
screen
and
for me.
Dr. Hall together.
This has been a lot of fun, and I'm so happy that you came here to talk to us a little bit about how to have good, healthy sexual life, and how these things interrelate with traditional Chinese medicine. Dr. Wilson, we'll get you on here another day. And Tanya Hall's been hiding up there in the corner, like all you can see is her glasses, but that's okay.
That, I want you to know, that is my sister who chimed in from Mississippi. So I'm thankful she was able to join us on tonight.
Thank you for everyone who joined us over in Facebook And as always, these will be available to see on Facebook. They're just up there. I'm sure that they'll be shared on to Dr. Hall's website. You can follow Dr. Hall on Facebook under Dr. Ma Ye Wong, Yewong. You can follow me on Everyone's Place. If you're probably watching me, you're probably already here. I'm also on Instagram on Everyone's Place. But y'all, I'm just not posting these days. I don't have to cheat. I barely care.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Dr. Ye Wong. That's the best place to follow me. I'm also going to tag you for the video from the last class, the touchless orgasm class. So, sometimes seeing is believing, because sometimes people don't think something is real. But this will make some believers out of you, because if they can do it, you can do it too.
I love it. And acupuncture is all about it being an energetic medicine. So for
Yes.
don't know, please also, you can find all three of us, except for Mama Hall, Tanya Hall over there in the corner. You can find all of us on blackacupuncturist.com, which is a new organization that is dedicated to bringing melanated acupuncturists to the forefront and making sure that our needs and the needs of disenfranchised communities are being met. So again, find all of us at blackacupuncturist.com, and I will see you all next Sunday, where we're talking about how to take your acupuncture on the go. There is someone who has done a mobile app and acupuncture. I'm like, Hunty, get it all. Like, how did you do that? Right? So we see you guys next Sunday at 5, and then I might take another little acupoints break as I'm trying to get people to come on and sign up to come out here. Thank you again for coming to Black Acupuncturist Meet and Greet. It has truly been a pleasure. If you can hold on while I disconnect Facebook. Bye, Facebook. All right.
Great job, ladies. This was amazing.
Thank you. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
That was good.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm sweating.